Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be starting my PvP number 7 series. This time looking at Team Red. And Team Red is composed of Base Keeper, the Sparking Aspect for Lightning, and Relentless Gaze of the Sun. Now the Sparking Aspect is going to replace your Thundering Destruction innate, and it will also get rid of your Raging Storm power card and replace it with Smite the Land, a single point of damage and a Badlands. Then this innate that you gain is a support tool that allows you to gain minor powers and can allow spirits to play additional power cards. And then this top tier allows you to get that Raging Storm that you lost. And this team is going to be going up against England 4 and Prussia 4, which means they're going to have 2 stage 1s, then a stage 3, and then immediately into stage 2. Now, the starting explorer that Team Blue picked for Team Red was Jungle, and they also picked the next explorer. So both of those explorers were picked before the teams actually began making actions. Now, we're going to start with Keeper, and Keeper always does the same opening. You're always going to choose to go and get this power card first, and then based on that power card, you're going to make your decisions. And they got Swarming Wasps, Land of Haunted Embers, Prowling Panthers, and Rain of Blood. This is what I would like to call a very medium draft. These are cards that are not... They don't stand out, and I know a lot of players would probably say this is a bad draft for Keeper, but there's still a lot that you can take away from it. So first, Prowling Panthers is one of the worst cards in the game, so let's get rid of that, because that is not a card I'm going to consider. We now are left with 3 decent picks, but nothing that is amazing. Rain of Blood is going to generate us a lot of fear, and it also gives us access to air, water, and animal, but mostly that air. Land of Haunted Embers is a fast disruption. This card has gotten me out of so much trouble with Keeper, so this is a card that I'm already leaning towards. It is sad that Relentless Gaze didn't end up getting Land of Haunted Embers. And finally, Swarming Wasps, another card that can be very good on Keeper, mainly because it is a 0 fire, and that fire is going to be important for that left innate, but it also adds beasts and also can disrupt. Now, unfortunately, due to this adversary composition, I think all 4 of these cards are just not really that solid. But I mean, Red has to pick a card here, and Red is going to decide to grab Land and Haunted Embers. And I think that makes a lot of sense. None of these really stand out, so we're going to grab that card. And these cards all get forgotten. Okay. And they're going to place a presence from top here, gaining an energy. And they'll place that presence right over here into F5. And they decide to push that Dahan from F5 into F4. And they're pushing that Dahan from Keeper's special rule, where it says anytime you create a sacred site, push all Dahan from that land. This special rule is why Keeper is pretty busted. Well, it's one of the reasons. Essentially, you get free Dahan manipulation whenever you want. And just like in typical Keeper fashion, they are going to be playing Boon of Growing Power. I almost said Resilient Power, but it's Boon. And they're going to enable another spirit to take this. So Lightning is going to do G2 top. And they're going to place both presents over here into F7, just trying to gain more centralized location. I'm surprised they didn't put it in C4, because I really like C4, because then you can access all of your lands. But F7 is still pretty fine as well. And Lightning is going to end up playing Harbingers and Shatter Homestead. So Harbingers and Shatter Homestead. And they decided to use both of these powers in the slow. And by doing this, they're going to get the first tier of that innate. Well, I guess second tier. And that's going to allow the spirit to gain more power cards, hopefully fueling your hand with a ton of cards, such that you can be able to play a lot more cards quicker. And Gaze decided to go with gaining a power card. And now these are some spicy cards for Relentless Gaze. So let's first get rid of Scream Disease. This is a card that has no text into this matchup. And now we have 3 amazing cards. Called Isolation, a 0-cost Sun, fast disruption, just everything Sun wants. Call to Guard, a 0-cost fast Dahan defense, Dahan manipulation, and Dire Metamorphosis, one of Gaze's, I don't want to say best cards, but a card that Gaze can make amazing. And that's because of that moon enables the right innate. And due to Gaze's right innate, it says whenever Blight would be added, you may destroy presence instead. This card's adding Blight. The only downside to this card is adding Blight. And Gaze can just ignore that. And then Gaze can repeat this. So this happens to be a card that a lot of Gaze players pick. It's a really fun card. You can do crazy things with this card. Now, Team Red decided to go with Call to Guard, and I don't blame them. Going for a zero-cost Sun that has a defend is just a phenomenal pick. They placed Unbearable Gaze, and they go Presence. I believe they're going from bottom track, and let me double check. Nope, they went from top track. I lied. And they decided to place this Presence right over here in H2. And by doing that, they're going to hit that top tier, that left innate, allowing them to do some damage here. And then they have likely Unbearable to disrupt something that pops up in H5. Okay, so that is the end of their fast phases, or that's the end of their growths. Well, now they only have a single fast power, and that is that Sparking. Lightning decided to take that Sparking innate, and let's see what they get. They got Sky's Herald, set them on an ever-twisting trail, Sucking Ooze, and Absorb Corruption. Once again, these are some pretty medium cards, and it is, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, and I kind of like this, because I feel like this seems a little bit pretty well built, and seeing them whiff on these early drafts definitely hurts, especially with Keeper and Lightning, because these are the spirits that need to draft some good cards, and they kind of missed. Now, looking at these cards, I mean, really Lightning's trying to draft zeros, so the first thing that I'm looking at is Sucking Ooze. I mean, you could go with Ever Twisting Trail as it's an air card, but yeah, it's just such an awkward draft. Even the synergy, just I don't really see the synergy. Like, you don't want Blight Healing here. Sky's Herald really doesn't do anything either. So, I mean, they went with Sucking Ooze, and I think that's the card I would also go with. There's at least some value there. And I believe that is it for the end of the fast phase. So let's now build our jungles here. Build, 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 and build. And they will also be building on F5 because of the adjacency buildings. And that is due to that England level 2 rule, or England level 1, not 2. And the Explorer that the other team cooked up for them was Wetlands. Or Explorer, Explorer, and Explorer. So now in the slow, they're going to be able to do several abilities here. And we get to finally see what the first set of events are. Oh, and I probably should have pointed out the cards that Team Red here cannot get this game is Spur, Gift of Constancy, and Portents. The majors are Power Storm, Unleash, and Vigor. So these cards are off limits. Team Red is unable to draft any of these cards. And now let's look at the first set of events. We have Temporary Truce, Search the Unclaimed Land, Provincial Seat, Distant Exploration, Dahan Trade, Terror Spikes Upward, Rising Interest, Missionaries, Civic Engagement, and Fortune Seekers. These are all of the cards that both Team Red as well as Team Blue are going to pick for each other. So Team Red is going to pick one event here. In addition, Team Red is going to pick the next team's Explorer. And once those are picked, they will then be allowed to proceed to slow phase. And same thing with Team Blue. Team Blue is going to pick one of these events for Team Red, as well as going to pick their Stage 3 Explorer. And then Blue Team will proceed with their slow phase. So remember, we're picking the Explorers and we're picking the events in advance. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I'm really excited to see how this is going to play out, especially with those early draft whiffs.